So let's imagine for a moment that we are graduating from high school or graduating from college, and somebody gives you your diploma and they hand you a handful of Legos at the same time. And they don't give you the box. You have no idea what you're building, but here are your Legos. Now your Legos represent your time and your effort. And here are your Legos. They give you your Legos and they give you the next step you have to do. So you're like, I'm going to take one Lego, and the next step is to put this Lego together, and I'm doing a good job. I'm being really compliant building what I think I'm supposed to be building, right? Years or decades later, after Lego together and building something, you take a step back because you're a little curious. You take a step back and you try to see exactly what you were building, only to realize that you've built what in essence is a Lego jail cell around yourself. And you ask yourself, you're like, oh my God, how did I get here? Why didn't anybody tell me what I was building? Here's a hint. Nobody cares, because everybody's trying to build their own Lego whatever at the same time anyway, their own project. And so what we find a lot of times is that the blueprint we're given in order to build our best life with our Lego blocks that we're given is usually given to us either by our parents. So you're running outdated software. They're saying, okay, go to college, go in debt, get a job and pay it off, and get married, have kids, and get a house and get 2 cars that are beautiful that your neighbors would absolutely adore and all this great stuff. Like, they give you all of these things that you should want, that you should probably want. You want stability in a job, you want a pension, maybe a gold watch when you retire. But this is an outdated blueprint a lot of people are running with. You don't realize it's outdated until you stress test it and look back. Also, we could get our blueprint from just society in general. So say your parents don't give you a blueprint, you look at society and society will tell you what you need to be doing, because honestly, they just want a fantastic cog in the machine, something that can keep the machine rolling and rolling. They're not too concerned with what you want. They're not concerned about your specific gifts. They're not concerned with your God-given mission in this world. And so what happens a lot of times, people get into a mountain of debt and they never stop to ask, am I building what I think, what I really want, that authentic life that I want? And so that's precisely why people oftentimes will have midlife crisis, mostly men, but some women too, where they leave their families and blow everything up and run off with the secretary and get the red sports car. And that's one way you could deal with a midlife crisis. You could try to hit the reset button on everything and cause utter chaos. But there's also another way. You can turn your midlife crisis into a midlife opportunity. An opportunity to take stock of what you're building, what you're doing, and do I need to flip that into anything else? Because you absolutely can. It's a great way to take an inventory on how you're doing with your spiritual relationship. How are me and God getting along? Does he have any impact in my life at all, or am I just doing my own thing? Am I just dancing to the beat of somebody else's drum? That's all a huge thing. And honestly, guys, what I hope for you is that you never hit a midlife crisis. I hope that we make quarter life crises a thing. Let's get to a quarter part of our life in our mid-20s or early 30s and we realize, oh, hold on here. I'm not living my authentic life, because you can course correct a little bit easier the earlier you go to identify what your sovereign workday looks like. Yes, for the first time ever, you're probably going to ask yourself, what do I really want? What is the life I'm looking to build? Because again, we're putting these Lego pieces together one at a time, and we're going to have to repurpose some of those blocks you've already laid down. They're not wasted. We just repurpose them to build what you want. And so when you are building that sovereign workday, you want to answer these questions. What does the flow of your day look like? When do you work out? When do you have family time? When are you actually working and producing something? When are you taking it easy? When do you have time to do the things you want to do in life? And honestly, for me, the biggest flex isn't even the Lambo in the driveway. The biggest flex I can think of for my life is never have to set an alarm clock. And so what are your biggest things? What is your life going to flow like if you were to have that sovereign life that you want? Number 2, You want to take a look at where do you want to live? And you can think, where do I want to live in the US? That's a great place to start. Or in the world, right? You can go anywhere you want to. But like, do you want to live in a city high rise? Do you want to live on a farm, like a homestead and a farm where you are churning your own butter? You can just write it down, right? Do you want to live in suburbia? Do you want to live anywhere? Do you want to be a nomad and go from place to place in an RV or convert a school bus into your next house? Go for it, right? Or do you want to drop deep roots and develop a community and live within that? These are all things that you can decide on where you want to live. Don't just think location, think of every aspect of where you want to live. The next thing you want to ask yourself is, what do you want to do for work? And I know what you're saying right away. Hey, look, I just want to be on a beach and sip margaritas. And that's great for about 2 weeks. And then you get bored, right? Because we're meant to be on mission. We're meant to create. We're meant to produce. That's built into our DNA. And if you've never had that feeling like you wanted to go and you wanted to do something, you're probably living the wrong life. You're probably engaged in the wrong work that doesn't light you up. So now it's time to pause and take stock. What would light you up? What would you get you excited to get up out of bed on a Monday and run whatever day you want to work, right? It's completely flexible. But there is something we have in the society where we think that work should be like force yourself to do it and torture, and we need to David Goggins this thing and use our inner grit to push through all obstacles and do something. There's a time for that. But you know what? There is something just as available to you, and it's an internal magnetic pull that pulls you to the type of work that really just lights you up, that you would want to do, that you would do on your day off if you could do right now. There's a vocation for everything. And so this is the time where we want to really identify what type of activities light you up. What have you done in the past that's been a lot of fun? How can we recreate some of that? Your past is going to give you great breadcrumbs to what's going to light you up in the future. So let's pay attention to that as well. If you're having a hard time really understanding what those things are, look towards your hobbies. Look towards your web browsing history if it's not too shady. That'll give you some idea on what lights you up and maybe what industries you need to start looking at. A new industry is created almost every day, and another one dies every day. So there's always opportunity to reinvent yourself. Just because you've done the same thing for the last 20 years doesn't mean for the next 20 years you have to do the same thing. Shuffle a deck. And it starts with identifying what lights you up as far as work. The next one we're looking at is, what does fun look like? In your sovereign day, in your sovereign life in the future, what does fun look like? You should have fun a part of every single day, certainly a part of every single week. So what are you doing for fun in those times? Do you hunt? Do you play sports? Do you go on vacation? Like, what are the things that light you up from a hobby standpoint? It could be something as simple as writing in a diary and you want to write the great next American novel. You can certainly do that. So take a moment and really just write down what fun looks like to you, because it looks different for everybody. The next question you want to ask is, who are you serving every day? Do you have a passion for serving children? Do you have a passion for working with older folks? Do you have a passion for working with the disabled? Are you passionate about entrepreneurs and seeing that light come on? Are you passionate about working with a number of different people? Do you want to teach homeless whales how to read? They don't know how to read. They're out in the ocean. You could take that on yourself to really step up and serve the people you want to serve. The next question you want to ask yourself is, who are you doing life with? That seems like an easy question to answer. I've got a wife and I got 2 kids. Those are who I'm doing my life with, right? Maybe easy, maybe different for you. You may be incorporating older family members into your home. Maybe you are reconnecting with extended family that you have a hard time connecting with because everybody's so busy living the blueprint of somebody else's life. Like, who are you connecting with? Do you want a small circle of friends that you can rely on, that you go deep, deep, deep? Or do you want the largest group of acquaintances that you go about as deep as a Frisbee, but you have these loose ties everywhere for networking sake? You can identify who you want to do life with specifically. And as a part of this exercise, you want to ask yourself, how do you know if you're successful? What quantitative measures would you know? Is it money? Is it status? Is it likes on social media? Is it the amount of homes or amount of orphanages you can build in Vietnam? What are the things that you're going to quantify a successful life? And it'll be a list all the way down. You may be surprised what you would consider a successful life. A lot of those things you might already have. This exercise should only take you 30 minutes, but guess what? A lot of us have never done this. They've never dreamed out loud on paper. They've never gotten crystal clear about what their life should look like because they're so busy either being distracted or reacting to what life is throwing at you. And again, you have the Lego pieces. You can build them however you want to, but you got to know, you got to build your blueprint or somebody else will build a blueprint for you. There it is, step 1 for you. There's 14 more where that came from, but we'll work on that later on. What I just want you to do is just get incredibly clear over what you're aiming at first so that we can take those Lego bricks and repurpose them however you want to repurpose them. Build the life you want and stop wishing for a life, right? So if you look at different regrets of the dying, people who are passing away, what are the things that they wish they had done differently? And over again, what they say is, I wish I lived a life that was more authentic. That's what I want from you. Let's start to build that authentic life and get that moving forward. If you found value from this, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe to my channel so you hear more things like this, and leave a comment below on what your sovereign life looks like. I would love to hear it. I'll talk with as many people as I possibly can. Until next time, have a great day.